anyone who's done anything significant in this world, they took action in spite of having fear. And in this video, I want to go into the topic of courage. Because in the last few videos, I shared more about my journey. I spoke about what were the pivoting points in my life that helped me go from one stage to the next stage. And in the last video, I also spoke about why I started the Internet Lifestyle Hub and why we want to bring about this revolution in education by creating a completely new breed of teachers, leaders, facilitators who are building vibrant learning communities. And while it sounds like a great idea, not everybody is going to take it up. And I want to address that head on in this video, talking about the concept of courage. Let's decode and understand why we have fears in the first place. And I'll tell you, I have been through all of these fears as well, and I continue to experience different kinds of fears in my life and journey at different stages. So as it's very human to experience those emotions, and I'll give you the antidote to it on how you can make fear as a friend and use fear as an inspiration for you to do more. Okay, and let me decode that for you today. So courage in simple definition is taking action in spite of having the fear. Now, what are these fears? Especially when it comes to starting anything new, maybe starting an online business, or you want to record a video for the first time, or you want to create something new. All of these fears go back to childhood. Now, let's say you were brought up in an environment where you were not allowed to make mistakes. For example, where making mistakes equals being wrong or bad. Now that puts you in a situation where you have an automatic protective mechanism around you where you don't want to make mistakes. And this is exactly how our current education system is. Because the education system rewards you for doing well, but also punishes you for making mistakes. So most of our fears, it starts from that foundation or conditioning that we would have had from our childhood. Now, when I look back at my journey, as some of you know, in that video, you would have heard me say that I failed my 12th. I don't have a degree even till today. But it was that confidence and hope that my parents instilled in me that allowed me to take risks in my career and my life in the future years, in the years that came later. When I correlate the concept of fear and courage with my journey, it was the people that I was growing up with, that helped me make better decisions or gave me the confidence to operate from a space where I could make the decision myself in some of those stages in my life, and I was able to move forward in some cases. And in many cases, I also took bad decisions. I made some bad decisions. So coming back to fear. Fear comes from a zone where you don't want to look bad in front of others. And that comes from the schooling conditioning at the first level. The next part of dealing with fear and courage is who are you associating with? For example, during college days, I was surrounding myself with a bunch of friends who had a particular perspective towards a particular topic. And I would never take steps and move forward in that particular topic because of the peer group's ideologies towards that topic. And then later on, when I changed my group of friends, they had a different perception to that same topic, and I was able to move forward in that particular topic. And just to give you, in a nutshell, the people that you surround yourself with and who you associate with, they also influence your decision making. So if you're surrounding yourself with people who say that, okay, starting a business is risky, who say that launching something online is not going to work, or maybe they give you feedback coming from a space of concern, but it may not be true. And for this, I want to give you an analogy. There was a baby elephant once that was tied to a pole. And that elephant tried again and again to break through that pole. And it could not. I tried 3, 4, 5, 10 times and it could not. And it gave up. Now, this elephant grew up into a big elephant 3, 4, 5 years. And the mahout would tie that elephant to the same pole. And that big elephant would not move. Even though that big elephant has the bodily strength to uproot any structure, it did not move because of conditioning. Now, this is a concept called learned helplessness. Like many of us, during our childhood days, we go through different experiences. Maybe during our school days, maybe we start some venture later on in college or something that happens. And that gets programmed into our system. And after some time, what happens is, because of that negative experience from the past, we end up becoming like that elephant, the baby elephant that tried again and again and gave up. And even though there are many people who have the potential to do amazing things, they don't do it because of learned helplessness. They have learned how to be helpless. Now the question is, how do you overcome this? How do you build the courage? And let us unpack that. So even when I track back in my life and see all those pivoting moments, where did I build that courage? When I look at the thread of all those moments where I was able to act in spite of fear, it is because of something, some inspiration, some kind of a hope that people gave me. Or it was also moments where it was a gut feeling that, okay, yes, I'm going to do this no matter what. So if I have to go back in time, the time when I failed my 12th grade, I came back home. I was completely dejected. I was lost. And the moment when my mother came to the room and told me, it's okay, no problem, you'll get through it next time. That hope, it instilled a kind of a courage or a confidence in me to move forward at that stage in my life where I felt, okay, everything was falling down. So to overcome fear and to get into the zone of courage, it could even be one person. And that is why when I'm teaching and coaching my students, I want them to lead, teach, and inspire from that space of inspiration. There are so many people in the world today who are living disconnected lives, and they just need that one line from that one person who can tell them, hey, yes, that's okay, you can do it. And then when I go forward in my life, from the point I failed my 12th, there was another turning point for me when I lost my job in 2011. I came back home and I told my wife I lost my job, and she said, what do we do about this? And after I told her I made that decision that day that, never ever again will I bring our family into this situation. That moment, it was not an externally inspired courage. It was an internally driven courage. So sometimes when we go through situations in our life, an inner force, an inner strength also gets formed. And if you can tap into that is actually unstoppable, because that's internal motivation. It's more powerful than external motivation. So that is another way on how to build courage, is by finding your reason why. Like for me, because she was 3 months pregnant at that point of time, and I had 500 rupees in my bank account, a kind of fire built inside me, like, you know what, I'm going to do this no matter what. I'm going to do this for my child. I'm not going to take us to that zone in our life where we are going to be down financially. I'm going to do whatever it takes to build our family's finances back on track, no matter what. That kind of a grit and determination, it comes because all of us, you watching this, you have that in you. There is some power that is there in you that gets generated, and you need a situation to trigger that power. For me, the situation in 2011 was losing my job. And then the next phase of my life on where I had to demonstrate courage was the transitionary phase, going from traditional business to building my coaching business. I was running an agency. I had 35 employees. I had 35 clients. Everything was looking good from the outside. But after paying tools, after paying taxes, after paying teams, after paying infrastructure costs, I was not able to take money back home because there were so many overheads in the business at that point of time. And I had all these fears. I went through a panic attack. I could not sleep for 2 weeks. I was not eating properly. I was overworking myself. And for me, the way I reset myself is spirituality. I came back to spirituality. So sometimes to overcome your fears, you may also need to tap into a higher power. So the first way to step into courage is by having somebody who believes in you, somebody who supports you. The second way to build courage is to ignite that courage that is there inside you. And the third way to build courage and overcome your fears is to surrender to the divine. Whichever religion path process that you follow, there is a higher power that's overlooking us. And for me, in 2015, when I went through that panic attack, I could not sleep. I went back to my spiritual practices. I completely went into scriptural reading, meditation, centered myself. Then slowly I was able to sleep. I was able to get better. And that really helped me come out of that situation. Now, when anyone starts their business online, when they enter my community, they experience different kinds of fears. They experience different kinds of challenges. And I want to decode that. So the first area to express your courage is to decide that you want to lead, teach, and inspire, especially in the topic that we are in. Okay. By understanding that there are many people in this world who need your help. Some people you may not even meet, you may not even see them. But with every video that you post, with every reel that you post, with every course that you create, there's somebody out there whose life can potentially be impacted with the knowledge and the skills and abilities that you have. So the first fear to overcome in the knowledge business is the fear of even getting started or having the courage to get started. And I know there are many people who have been watching my ads, they've been watching my videos, watching my webinars for years and years, but they've still not started this journey. Why? Because they're not sure about themselves. So the biggest fear is self-doubt, self-belief, and your own internal resistances. I'm not good enough. Why will people learn from me when there are so many others who are doing it? Imposter syndrome. All of these are it's the most basic layer of challenges that most people face when they're starting a knowledge business. So now what is the antidote for that? How do you get into that zone of courage? Is by making one decision. Maybe you're watching this video. Make that decision right now at this moment. That, okay, enough is enough. I am going to step into leadership. I'm going to step into my power. And I'm going to start with one action step. I'm going to record one video and post today. It begins with the decision to start. The next level of challenge that most people would face when they come into is productivity. Fear of not having time, fear of not having resources, and not having the courage to address that head on. And these are like typical excuses. I don't have money, I don't have time, I'm too busy in my life, so let me park it for later. And there are so many people whose amazing talents have still not come out to the world because of this one big thing. Not able to manage themselves, manage their time, manage their productivity. And what is the antidote for this? How do you overcome and step into your courage to actually getting stuff done and doing it one step at a time is by being a part of a community. Because on your own, your monkey mind will move you in all directions. But when you are surrounding yourself with people who are progressive and are moving forward, you'll see somebody else run, at 100x speed, and you also want to do the same thing. Just like when you take filings of iron and put it into fire, it takes on the qualities of fire. Similarly, when you surround yourself with people who are progressive and when you're part of a community, just by you associating with people who are progressive, you will take on those qualities as well. And then there are many other areas you got to demonstrate your courage. The next area where you'll have to demonstrate your courage in a business model like this is the courage to sell and to face rejections when people say no. According to me, selling is one of the most spiritual experiences that anyone can have because it'll crush your ego. Because when you're selling a product and when no one buys, you're going to face that rejection. And when you start building that skill and the ability to sell, and when you make that as one of your superpowers, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities for you. And most people who get into this knowledge business, yes, they have the right intention, they record that first video, They step into, yes, I want to take this forward and build my community. But the fear kicks in and the courage goes down when it comes to selling and asking the market for money for a value exchange to happen. See, I believe that there are many people who are YouTubers, influencers, podcasters doing amazing work. Many people who have large influence. But according to me, true influence is when somebody is able to transact with you. Because when somebody pays you money, they have trusted you on a totally different level. There are enough of people who can just give you likes and comments and stuff like that online. Today, it's a very, very shallow world where many influencers, what they say and who they are completely different. And how do you know when you have conquered yourself when it comes to this game of sales is when somebody has paid you even 1 rupee, especially in a coaching business model like this. And that's where you're going to demonstrate your courage. And the next level of demonstrating your courage is going to be coming to a point where, yes, you're getting sales, but there'll be moments where you'll have different challenges in business. Your ads may get shut down, your teams may leave you, your products may not be working, you may get a negative feedback from somebody. How are you going to deal with it? And that all boils down to your mindset. So the antidote for you to overcome these challenges in a knowledge business and to scale it to the next level is again the same thing. To be a part of a community, to be a part of a mastermind, to again surround yourself with people who are vibrating at a high frequency. So courage here is more to do with your state of being. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, we are all human beings. I'm a human being too. I go through my own fears. And what I try to do every single day is to connect myself with my creator, to connect myself with myself, to surround myself with people who believe in me, so that all of these add up on my journey. I have amazing mentors that I'm in touch with. I'm blessed to have my spiritual master always and having his blessings, because that spiritual perspective to life, it really gives you more strength, understanding that after all, everything in this world, there's an expiry date to everything that we do. And when we are able to live this life like how Arjuna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was an enlightened warrior. Imagine the fear that he would have had. He was about to give up and said, no, I want to quit this battle and I want to go back and let them win the war. And those of you know what happened next. Lord Krishna just told him, you're a fool. You got to do your duty as a warrior. And his intention of fighting that war was very different from Duryodhana and the Kauravas, because he was doing it not for him, but he was doing it for his Lord. And having that kind of a spiritual perspective when you're building your business, like an enlightened warrior, where you know that there's an expiry date to whatever you do, but you're doing this anyway because there is a higher purpose, a higher mission, and a higher reason to do this. When you have that kind of a perspective, it really helps you move forward with a lot of courage. And even when the times are tough, when the chips are down, when things are not moving, you will draw inspiration either from your mentors, you'll draw inspiration from the people who support you, you'll draw inspiration from yourself, or you'll draw inspiration from the creator to do the work that you're supposed to do. So when it comes to courage, I want to close this segment or this video with one thought, that we are all channels. We are all instruments for a higher cause. Most people do not know that they are an instrument. They may be just living their life on a day-to-day basis thinking that I'm just doing this or doing that. But once you are able to realize that whatever talents and skills and abilities that are given to you and whatever gifts that have been given to you are so that you can use that gift to serve others, once you're able to understand that and you are able to make yourself as a channel, the resources, the opportunities, the kind of networks that you will create at that point will propel you forward much faster than you can imagine. So to become courageous, it begins with surrender, and it begins with you operating as a channel on a higher work that needs to be done on this world. In the next video, I'll be getting into other topics like resilience and many others. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do that, because what's coming up next is going to move you forward on what you've always been looking for, because what you're seeking also seeks you, and all you have to do is keep your antennas alert and take that next step. More power to you.